All right, we're not even done with week one. We're about to watch South Carolina take on Virginia Tech in Atlanta, but I'm already pumped about the game of the week in week two. Sharon Moore and Michigan headed to Sharon Moore's alma mater, Oklahoma, to play the new-look Sooners. John Mateer, that offense looked really fun against Illinois State, but of course it was Illinois State. We saw Bryce Underwood's debut against New Mexico. Pretty good stat line coming out of it for a young guy making his first start as a true freshman.
But let's be honest, this is the F around and find out game.
This is it. This is you taking your true freshman who's starting his second game into the belly of the beast. What's he going to be? Is he going to be the guy you paid all that money for? And on the other side, is John Mateer going to be that guy that Oklahoma paid all that money for? Because
he had a pretty sexy stat line, but we don't know. What do we take from that?
From that game, not much. But here's the thing that's interesting to me. And Ari, you and I were at the LSU-Clemson game on Saturday. What you saw in that game was some great defensive line play, great pressure from both defensive coordinators. But you saw two veteran quarterbacks who made it not look like a disaster. Like Garrett Nussmeier outplayed Cade Klubnik, but I think we could both agree that both of them handled the quality of those defenses pretty well, considering. You go to the game in Columbus where Texas played Ohio State, and you had two first-time starters in Arch Manning and Julian Sayin, and they looked the part. They looked like it. In this game, you have a guy who's got a year of starting experience under his belt in John Mateer. Now, granted, it was at Washington State and not against Michigan quality defenses, but he didn't have Oklahoma quality players next to him either. Meanwhile, Bryce Underwood, this is what you got him for, but this is really early to be throwing him in against this.
Yeah. Greatest thing about this game, and I don't know if next week is going to be the most chaotic week of the season because there's not a lot of marquee games.
This is the one everybody's got
circled. And, you know, if you're Bryce Underwood, and, you know, I was laughing because when he got off the bus at the stadium yesterday, I don't know if you saw this, he walked the wrong way. Like he's
new. He's never done it before.
It was just like funny because everything is a first, but you want a real first. This is what you paid for. This is what you got paid for.
Yep.
And it's not the freshman has to come along. Michigan wants to win this football game, and they want to be a Big Ten national championship contender. This game obviously won't play a factor into that because it's a non-conference game, but we're going to find out whether Michigan is a team that can do it now.
Well, and Bryce Underwood is going to be challenged by a Brent Venables defense that, even for veteran quarterbacks, is known to be confusing. So that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to mess with the picture in his head, which is sort of like what you saw Ohio State do to Arch Manning on Saturday, what you've seen the Michigan defense over the years do to just about everybody. But Venables will try to make what Bryce Underwood sees lie to him, and I think that's going to be the most interesting part of that game is how does he handle that? Does he get fooled? Does he get tricked into throwing a pick because he thinks it's man when it's zone? That's the interesting part there because that's exactly what I would try to do. I would try to confuse the hell out of the young guy.
Yeah, and I know that the quarterbacks are the headline of this game, but you know what I'm really, really interested in more than anything? I mean, obviously I'm interested in how the quarterbacks fare, but I pick Oklahoma to have a really good year this year.
Yes.
Okay. And one of the reasons why I'm a little bit nervous about that is I am concerned about their total talent level from top to bottom.
Yeah.
If you have a talent discrepancy or there are certain areas of your team that are weaker as a result of not, you know, doing as well as you could have or developing players in the portal, whatever you want to do. If you have a hole, Michigan's going to find that hole.
Yes.
And they're going to out-tough that hole, and they're going to bury you because of it. So I'm very curious to see, even if John Mateer, because at the moment, and I don't know if this was blasphemous, but I think I would take Mateer over Underwood just based on experience
right
and production.
Right now, yeah.
So, you know, from that standpoint, I think Oklahoma has an advantage. But will Michigan be able to find wrinkles, find spots in Oklahoma's team where the personnel is kind of iffy and take advantage of it?
Well, I think we know what spots we're talking about. The question for Oklahoma that we've been asking all offseason is, can their offensive line hold up? And
what do we know about Michigan?
Yeah, great defensive line.
Always.
So Oklahoma's offensive line was not good enough last year. It was not good enough to compete against the really good defensive lines they have to play on their schedule. Michigan is very representative of all these good defensive lines that Oklahoma is going to have to see down the stretch. Rayshawn Benny, Derek Moore, you name it. They are fantastic up front. And so the question is, can Oklahoma block them? Can they protect Mateer? Now, Mateer can protect himself somewhat because he's such a good runner, and that does sort of take a little bit of the heat off. Like Wink Martindale is going to have a harder time blitzing him, pressuring him, because you have to worry about Mateer in the run game. But that said, if Michigan's front four can manhandle Oklahoma's offensive line, it won't matter. None of that will matter.
Yeah. And I love breaking down the game, but can we also talk about feelings? Because I like talking about feelings, too.
I know. It's feelings ball to you, Ari.
I think that the most interesting thing about college football is feelings. Do you not?
No, you're exactly right.
Huge game for Brent Venables.
Massive.
Huge game.
Huge for Sharon Moore.
Yeah. But in a very different way.
And this is Sharon Moore's last game.
Yeah.
Until he comes back after the Nebraska game.
Let's be honest. If Sharon Moore loses this game, I don't think Ann Arbor will catch on fire.
No.
But if Norman, Oklahoma suffers a loss.
Yeah. Oh, because they're going to look at the rest of the schedule and go, okay, this is Michigan talent-wise, Texas, Alabama, all these teams, South Carolina, all these teams on the schedule, pretty talented too. Yeah, what are we going to do?
I told my wife I wanted to go up to Norman next weekend to watch the game, and she said, I don't want you to go. You have a kid. I mean, like, really.
But if Oklahoma wins, the party in Norman is going to be pretty incredible.
If Oklahoma wins.
That will give them the confidence that they can play with the rest of these teams on the schedule, because that's what they're waiting for. Is last year they looked so overmatched against Texas, against South Carolina, against Ole Miss. They have to prove that they can play toe-to-toe on the line of scrimmage with a team like this.
And I cannot wait until game time.
Oh, speaking of game time, would you like to see this game? There are good tickets available on Game Time. It is your home for last-minute tickets. Prices in the mid-300s into the 400s. Yeah, this is a really hot ticket, but you go to that Game Time app, you download it, use the code STAPLES. $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, of course. But you can take a look at exactly where you'd be sitting in the stadium. The price you see is the price you get. There are no hidden fees. It's not like you say, oh, this is a great price, and you click on it, and all of a sudden $95 worth of fees show up. No, the price you see is the price you're going to pay. So download the Game Time app. Use the code STAPLES. $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Click and tap it, and your ticket will be right there, and you are in the stadium. And man, this would be a great place to watch the Sooner Schooner.
Yeah.
And I love when fan bases come together who don't see each other very often or haven't seen each other at all, because you have these great traditions. Everybody's got their so the Michigan fans get to see the Sooner Schooner up close. They get to see the Roughnecks firing off the rifles.
Yeah, and I don't remember what the street is called that leads into the stadium.
Well, Campus Corner is right across from.
But it's one of the most beautiful walks in the stadium.
It's gorgeous. Yes,
that you can have. I went to my first Oklahoma game 10 years ago, and I hadn't gone back until last year when they played Tennessee. And obviously, with Heupel's return, that was a big deal. I assume that this is going to be every bit as a big deal, because this is a huge game for Oklahoma to prove that they're not going to have a reoccurrence of what happened a year ago.
Huge game for Michigan, though, too, because what if Bryce Underwood walks in to Norman, Oklahoma, walks into Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium, and balls out? We have to change all our expectations for them.
Yeah, for sure. And, wish for the safety of the people who are at the game. But, yeah, it's going to be something. We can't wait. I'm so excited, dude.
This is going to be awesome. Week 1's still not over, but we're already pumped about week 2.